Here we go. Hello. Am I back on yet? Is it that time? I think we're recording. I think it's live. I think everything is going all right. Everything is moving expectedly. As we know that our manifestation creates the words from inside of our body somewhere. And it creates it to come off the lip of our tongues. I know we got 2 ears because we're supposed to listen more than we talk. But that's all right, because today I'm going to be doing all the talking. And you can use those 2 ears and listen in if you would like. And you can also, while you are listening in, you can write into this beautiful knowledge drip that is Wild Thoughts with your host, The Big Bang. And that's the intro. I know. Every time we do something and we make it a little different, a little bit better, a little bit easier for the leaders of Wild Thoughts to manifest themselves and understand that their leadership is true today. Whew, man, do we got some good things for all the great leaders out there today on the Wild Thoughts Knowledge Drip today. We're going to be going over the power of habit and why habit is so amazing into your life and how it can change everything you do, from paying your bills to saving money to losing all your gas money to spending all your money in the bar. These habits, spending money on whatever, these habits. What type of habits do you have? What type of habits are hurting you? What type of habits are not hurting you? That's what today is going to be all about. It's going to be all about the habits of our life, the habits of our time, the habits of our immediately ever after. So before we do that today, actually, I'd like everyone that's listening right now to go ahead and, stand up. And on this knowledge drip, I want you to walk. Walk around, take your steps for the day. Walk around, get your steps in as you listen to my beautiful voice drip into your brain and into your subconscious mind to think that maybe you think that you can do what you need to do in order to do what you want to do. Man, life is good and life is easy. How can it be anything else other than that? So before we start, let's go ahead and start this knowledge drip, even though we've already started it. We've already been starting it. When does it start? When does it end? When does the words begin? And how do the words end? That's the question that everyone has been asking. But for this knowledge drip, we're going to be doing the walking meditation. We're going to be walking as you listen to this one for the full 30 minutes, maybe 35 minutes, maybe even 37 minutes, however long it goes. We're just here to make our life easy. We're here to slow down and understand that we're useless in this infinite time and space. So here we go for your instructions for walking meditation. Softly, focus gaze on the ground or the floor, about 2 to 3 feet ahead. Gently fold hands together at around the level of your navel, or allow your arms to remain comfortably at your side. Begin walking quite slowly and continuously. No stopping between steps. Keep attention focused on the sensations you can feel in the soles of your feet. This is an intentional anchor, just as the breath sensations are the anchor during sitting meditation. Choose a turn around point about 15 to 20 yards away. When you reach that point, stop. Then take a deep breath and lift your gaze to your surroundings. Carefully notice what you can see, hear, and feel. After about 30 seconds or so, slowly, very slowly, turn around and resume walking. Meditation to your starting point Repeat this for the duration of the time you have planned for this mediation session. Now, this whole mediation session for you guys, meditation session for you guys, is going to be during this whole knowledge drip. And also will be for me when I go do my walking tomorrow. Why not? I guess I could I'll listen to a different knowledge drip, but I know about my instructions for the walking meditation. And now you understand your instructions for the walking meditation. Oh yeah, I'm so tight right now. I don't know why. Been doing a lot of stretching though lately, trying to get my body flexed out, ready to go, doing those push-ups every day, doing those meditations every day, doing the writings every day, practicing my readings and whatnot, and knowing that I can manifest myself to do what I need to do. So we're gonna go over what I have written. Now this writing, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about it, but it was in one of my old books that I used to write upon and get out the full knowledge that was in me during this time when I was writing on a different book than I am now. So let's go ahead and start this new old great words of pen and paper. Let's go ahead and start this around the 6-minute and 30-second mark, and then we'll jump in to our power of habit for today. What are the 4 agreements? The first agreement is be impeccable with your word. The second agreement is to be impeccable with your word. Your third agreement is to be impeccable with your word. And your fourth agreement, I'm guessing most of you can guess it by now. Go ahead and say it with me. To be impeccable with your word. It is the most hardest to be impeccable. It is a gift that comes directly from your brain. You can manifest anything you want. Create events in your life. Use your words. Your word is the dream that you create. For life, our words seem to be magic. It is amazing how one word can change everyone's life. You say a word and will be able to change the direction of human and earth forever. Do not plant the seeds of words that will destroy someone else. That person has tried their best to make your life hard. Remember to talk to yourself kindly. Tell yourself that you can make the money you want. Tell yourself you are the greatest. Allow yourself to know that in whatever you are doing now, you will and can be the best at whatever you know. Remember, words not only fight the person across from you, but fight the person inside of you. Your truth will manifest. Our words create my life. Keep your life out of fear and doubt. Keep your heart and brain to the life of being happy. Express joy and happiness. Ooh, man, I like that right there. And on that note, I think we're going to do some affirmations real quick, just because I want everyone to remember what we just talked about in this last little knowledge that I just gave you, that you can manifest anything. And in this one, and in this manifestation right here, these affirmations that even you can use for yourself, these affirmations are going to be on wealth, money wealth. If that's what your desire is, if you don't already understand that you are very wealthy in everything that you have, wealthy in the number of breaths you get to take, wealthy in the number of beautiful women you get to look at, wealthy in the number of hours you get to drive in a car, wealthy in the bed you get to sleep in, wealthy for the air conditioning that just turned on, Wealthy for the gas you can put in your car. Wealthy for the electricities. Look at all your wealth around you. And realize that you're not poor. You're pretty rich. You got a lot of things. You got everything you need. Probably. Because once you don't have everything you need, well then you're useless. And once you're useless, they put you 6 feet under the ground real quick. Like in a couple weeks. Ooh, yeah. So if you ain't under the ground and you're still breathing, you're pretty useful. Maybe. Depending on what you want to be. Depending if you want to be useful. Depending if you want to do what you want to do. Depending if you're trying to get done what you need to get done. So let's go ahead and start these wealth affirmations. We'll start them at about the 10-minute and 55-second mark. So go ahead and take a deep breath for yourself. Keep on doing your walking instructions for meditation as we begin our wealth affirmations. I am a money magnet. Woo, I like being a money magnet. Money comes to me. I am constantly in the flow of money. Ooh, I am constantly in the flow of money. Can you feel it flowing around you? Ow, that shit hurts, doesn't it? Get some fucking coins thrown at your face. Get some dollar bills stuffed in your mouth. That shit doesn't feel good. But you're constantly in the flow of it. Swimming with it. Growing with it. Moving with it. What are you going to take? Are you going to take your little 5-gallon bucket to this river? Are you going to figure out how to create a ditch that comes off that wealth flow and comes right into your house, passes right through your house, and right back out, so that the continuous wealth comes to you? I have unlimited abundance. I have everything that I could ever want and need. I am grateful. I trust in the universe to deliver exactly what I want and know that I desire. The universe always provides. Allow yourself to feel and be grateful for the unlimited abundance that you already have in your life. I am financially abundant. Woo! Man, you hear that shit? Say it one more time with me. I am financially abundant. I am financially abundant. Woo! That's a powerful little affirmation right there. If you never told yourself that before, then go ahead and you can get up and look in the mirror. If you're still doing your little walking meditation, go ahead and look in the mirror and say, I am financially abundant. Know thyself, man. Know thyself. I trust the universe to always provide. I am always attracting abundance into my life. I am always attracting abundance into my life. Oh, man, I'm an abundance magnet. You're an abundance magnet. As leaders of the Wild Thoughts, we're all abundance magnets. Otherwise, you can't be a leader. You'll have to be a follower until you figure out how to become the abundance magnet. I am using an unlimited and never-ending resource. I have more money, more time, more breaths, more friends, more food, more electricity, more water than I could ever need. More of it. I got more than I could ever need, and I'm willing to give it up freely because I know that's going to come back to me. I give it up freely because I know it's going to come back to me. And I really like that saying right there. I don't know where that came from. I don't know who said it before, but I like that one. Because when you use the abundance of, let's say, the river, the abundance of the ground, the abundance of the air, you use a little bit and you give it back something different. And it's able to, with that thing that you're giving back differently, it's able to use the power, the energy, the sources of your breath, the sources of your shit, the sources of your piss. It's able to collect that into the ground, filter through, feed the trees, feed the plant life, and that plant life feeds the animals, and the animals feed the rivers, and the rivers feed us. And that's what we talk about with an unlimited flow of supply. Oh shit. Man, I'm telling you, once you understand how the flow of life works, once you understand that money comes to you constantly, and that whatever you need can come to you constantly if you I was about to say believe, but you know that we don't say believe. I'm trying to get that one out of my vocabulary here. That the money and everything that you give out, if you know that you can manifest it to come back to you, it will. But if you know that it won't come back to you, it won't. And that's how simple this life can be. It's simple, it's easy. Nothing in this life should be very hard, because everything is made of the same thing, atoms and molecules. Sure, if you look around, you might see your phone. You might see a book. You might see tables. You might see the ground that you're walking on, the stones, the concrete. All those things are made of the same things that you are made out of. Atoms and whatnot. Molecules and whatnots. They're all just smashed into a little bit different type of form. But in the end of the day, all the forms, they come back into one. So it would be just one form for your little bitch ass bitches. I like that right there. So let's go ahead now that we've done that. Let's go ahead and get into the power of habit. Before we start this power of habit, let's start it with a nice little poem for everybody. And this poem's going to start around the 17-minute mark as the AC turns off. Thank you, AC. Thank you, AC. Thanks for cooling this place down a little bit. Start this little poem at the 17-minute mark. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it is almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you've lost. For out of the world we find success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. Ooh, shit. Weren't we just talking about the word? State of mind? Okay. If you think you are outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Ooh, man, what did we just talk about? Life's battles do not always go to the stronger or faster man, but sooner or later, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. Ooh, man, I like that right there. Now we can finally jump into our power of habit, because a home is something that cannot be bought. You can buy a house, but only a woman can make it a home. Here we go. We'll start the power of habit around the 18-minute and 45-second mark, just to give everyone a nice little break in between there, and everybody knows what the flow of time is. Having myself experienced all the difficulties that stand in the road of those who lack the understanding to make the practical application of this great principle of autosuggestion, let me take you a short way into the principle of habit, through the aid of which you may easily apply the principle of autosuggestion in any direction and for any purpose whatsoever. Habit grows out of environment, out of doing the same thing, or thinking the same thought, or repeating the same words over and over again. Habit may be likened to the groove on a phonograph record, while the human mind may be likened to the needle that fits into the groove. When any habit has been well formed through repetition of thought or action, the mind has a tendency to attach itself to and follow the course of that habit as closely as the phonograph needle follows the groove in the wax record. Habit is created by repeatedly directing one or more of the five senses of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and feeling in a given direction. It is through this repetition principle that the injurious drugs habit is formed. It is through this same principle that the desire for intoxicating drinks is formed into a habit. After a habit has been well established, it will automatically control and direct our bodily activities, wherein may be found a thought that can be transformed into a powerful factor in the development of self-confidence. The thought is this: voluntarily and by force, if necessary, direct your efforts and your thoughts along a desired line until you have formed the habit that will lay hold of you, and continue voluntarily to direct your efforts along the same line. To object in writing out and repeating the self-confidence formula is to form the habit of make-believe in yourself, the dominating thought of your mind, until that thought has been thoroughly embedded in your subconscious mind through the principle of habit. You learn to write by repeatedly directing the muscles of your arm and hand over certain outlines known as letters, until finally you form the habit of tracing these outlines. Now you can write with ease and rapidity without tracing each letter slowly. Writing has become a habit with you. The principle of habit will lay hold of the facilities of your mind, just the same as it will influence the physical muscles of your body, as you can easily prove by mastering and applying the lesson on self-confidence. Any statement that you repeatedly make to yourself, or any desire that you deeply plant in your mind through repeated statement, will eventually seek expression through your physical, outward bodily efforts. The principle of habit is the very foundation upon which the lesson on self-confidence is built. And if you will understand and follow the directions laid down in this lesson, you will soon know more about the law of habit from first-hand knowledge than could be taught by 1,000 such lessons as this. You have but little conception of the possibilities which lie sleeping within you, awaiting but the awakening hand of vision to arouse you, and you will never have a better conception of those possibilities unless you develop sufficient self-confidence to lift you above the commonplace influence of your present environment. The human mind is a marvelous, mysterious piece of machinery, a fact of which I was reminded of a few months ago when I picked up Emerson's essay and reread his essay on spiritual laws. A strange thing happened. I saw in that essay, which I had read scores of times previously, much that I had never noticed before. I saw more in this essay than I had seen during previous readings, because the unfoldment of my mind since the last reading had prepared me to interpret more. The human mind is constantly unfolding, like the petals of a flower, until it reaches the maximum of development. What this maximum is, where it ends, or whether it ends at all or not, are unanswerable questions. But the degree of unfoldment seems to vary according to the nature of the individual and the degree to which he keeps his mind at work. A mind that is forced or coaxed into analytical thought every day seems to keep on unfolding and developing great powers of interpretation. Down in Louisville, Kentucky, lives Mr. Lee Cook, a man who has practically had no legs and has to wheel himself around on a cart. In spite of the fact that Mr. Cook has been without legs since birth, he is the owner of a great industry and a millionaire through his own efforts. He has proved that a man can get along very well without legs if he has a well-developed self-confidence. In the city of New York, one may see a strong, able-bodied and able-headed young man without legs, rolling himself down Fifth Avenue every afternoon with cap in hand, begging for a living. His head is perhaps as sound and as able to think as the average. This young man could duplicate anything that Mr. Cook of Louisville has done, if he thought of himself as Mr. Cook thinks of himself. Henry Ford owns more millions of dollars than he will ever need or use. Not so many years ago, he was working as a laborer in a machine shop with but little schooling and without capital. Scores of other men, some of them with better organized brains than his, worked near him. Ford threw off poverty conscience, developed confidence in himself, thought of success, and attained it. Those who worked around him could have done as well as they had they thought as he did. Milo C. Jones of Wisconsin was stricken down with paralysis a few years ago. So bad was the stroke that he could not turn himself in bed or move a muscle of his body. His physical body was useless, but there was nothing wrong with his brain, so it began to function in earnest, probably for the first time in its existence. Laying flat on his back in bed, Mr. Jones made that brain create a definite purpose. The purpose was prosaic and humble enough in nature, but it was definite, and it was a purpose. Something that he had never known before. His definite purpose was to make pork sausages. Calling his family around him, he told of his plans and began directing them and carrying the plans into action. With nothing to aid him except a sound mind and plenty of self-confidence, Milo C. Jones spread the name and the reputation of Little Pig sausages all over the United States and accumulated a fortune besides. All this was accomplished after paralysis had made it impossible for him to work with his hands. Where thought prevails, power may be found. Henry Ford made millions of dollars and is still making millions of dollars each year because he believed in Henry Ford and transformed that belief into definite purpose and backed that purpose with a definite plan. The other machinists who worked along with Ford during the early days of his career visioned nothing but a weekly pay envelope, and that was all they ever got. They demanded nothing out of the ordinary of themselves. If you want to get they ever got, they demanded nothing out of the ordinary, out of themselves. If you want to get more, be sure to demand more of yourself. Ooh, I like that. Let's say that one more time. If you want to get more, be sure to demand more of yourself. Notice that this demand is made to be made on yourself. There comes to mind a well-known poem whose author expressed great physiology truth, and we already went over that little poem. So it can do no harm if you commit this poem to memory and use it as part of your working equipment in the development of self-confidence. Whew! That's our habit, guys, right there. Hope you enjoyed that. We're almost at the 30-minute mark, so I'm going to go over this poem for you one more time. We'll go over this poem one more time just because of how important it is to this knowledge drip. And then we're going to finish and close out this great knowledge drip today with the self-confidence formula as we normally do. So let's go ahead and let's do this poem for you one more time, for me one more time, for you. It's probably 1,000 more times, maybe even 1,000,000 more times. Who knows how many times this is going to be pressed on replay? Maybe 1,000,000, maybe 1,000,000,000, maybe 1,000,000,000. That's all I know, because I'm saying in my word, my powers, it's going to be shared with the world. This knowledge drip today, as you guys listen to, are going to share it with all your friends. I know it, because I know it, because I told myself that you're going to do it. I told myself that everyone that listens to it is going to share it with at least one person when they listen to this knowledge drip. We'll see how the word manifests itself into the real being of what is. So let's go ahead and do this poem one more time. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it is almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you've lost. For out of the world we find, success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man. But sooner or later, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. Woo! Guys, you can go back and listen to that. Ladies, you can go back to listen to that if you want. But we're almost done with this knowledge drip now. We're already at 31 minutes and 30. Oh, we're almost at 32 minutes. So hopefully you're still doing your walking meditation. If you are, let me just give you a quick reminder about what you should be doing. And I want you to keep your attention focused on the sensations you can feel in the soles of your feet. Just keep that sensation you can feel in the soles of your feet as you begin to walk. This whole 31 minutes, if you're still walking, congratulations, that's good for you. You should feel good about yourself that you're able to walk the abundance of steps you can take. Now that's a fucking miracle right there, because there's guys out there making millions of dollars and they can't even take one step. And you can take 1,000,000 steps. You can take 1,000,000 steps. You think that's worth $1 million? Shit, that's worth more than $1 million for me. I'd rather take 1,000,000,000,000,000,000 trillion steps than $1 million. Just personally, I would want to keep on stepping instead of getting money, because I know if I can keep walking, even if I have to lay down on my flat back like we learned in The Power of Habit, or sit in a chair, I know that I could still create and know the power of my being, because I have the confidence within myself. And I hope you have the confidence within yourself to know that you could also be what you want to be. So let's go ahead and start the self-confidence formula at the 33-minute mark. And then we'll call it a day. First, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, aggressive, and continuous actions towards its attainment. I realize that the dominating thoughts of my mind eventually reproduce themselves in outward bodily action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my mind for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to be by creating a mental picture of this person and then transforming that picture into reality through practical service. I know that through the principle of autosuggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of realizing it. Therefore, I shall devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of the factors named in the 16 lessons of this reading course on the law of success. I have clearly mapped out and written down a description of my definite purpose in life. For the coming 5 years, I have set a price on my services. For each of these 5 years, a price that I intend to earn and receive through strict application of the principle of efficient, satisfactory service, which I will render in advance. I have fully realized that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to me the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because I will first serve them. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity. Because I know that a negative attitude towards others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. I will sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it aloud once a day with full faith that it will gradually influence my entire life so that I will become a successful and happy worker in my chosen field of endeavor. Well, guys, we're almost at 36-minute mark. Hopefully you got a lot of walking, and hopefully you were able to feel the soles of your feet for that whole 36 minutes and feel the power that you were able to step, power that you're able to manifest, the power that you're able to know with your mind and with your heart. Whew, life is good, and how could it be anything else? I don't know. Well, guys, make your life easy. Remember to know thyself, man. Know thyself. And until next time, this has been one of your greatest knowledge drips of all time, Wild Thoughts, with your host, The Big Bang. And until we breathe again on this beautiful blue microphone, goodbye.